The next part of our show this morning involves something that we started a few years ago, the singing superintendents. So, first, a big thank you to Robert Cadillac, who is our lyricist. He is the person who puts all of the music together. And I believe, is Joe playing the guitar again this year? Joe Famulera, our guitarist. So it is my pleasure, everyone, to introduce our singing superintendents and strategic partners.
Do you believe in student souls? light, that sacrificial rite. We saw you dancing with delight the day the bond all died. We were singing, bye, my education bride. Drove the testing to the levee, but the testing won't die. And good old suits were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that we rise. This will be the day that we rise. We met in the union, sang the blues, and we asked them for some happy news, but they just smiled and turned away. We went down to the Capitol floor, where food aid increased years before, but the governor said the Senate wouldn't play. And in the streets the children screamed, the parents cried, and the athletes dreamed, but not a word was spoken. The PTAs were broken, and the three men we admire most shot Kevin like Mike the host. They stood up for our group to boast the day